Gratitudes. For most of my life, I had been alone, ignored, and just seen as someone not taken notice of, except for a few groups of people that I have come to know as my friends. Even though the majority of them have moved on and probably forgot about me, to them, who took their time, no matter how small, no matter my unusual behavior and social tendencies, to be benevolent to me, gratitudes. To strangers who helped me along the way, bearing no mind to my appearance and naivety, showing what to do, what not to do in certain circumstances. To people I've met online, who I have no idea of who you are on the other side of the screen, only that you took your time to be kind or share something of your life that bears meaning, gratitudes. To people who I've quote unquote dated or showed romantic interest in, even though things didn't work out, things could have never happened in the first place, or if I just missed out on my opportunity, still, for the time we were together, be it fleeting, momentary, or ending up just as friends, despite the heartbreak I had to experience, memories of kindness and compassion overshadow them. Gratitudes. When I look back on my life, it's safe to assume that for the majority of it, maybe like 90% of it, was just me, alone. Alone to the point where I am most comfortable being alone, that the concept, that the thought of isolation is no more, replaced by a serene, silent solitude that has empowered me, allowed me to thrive in being on my own. While that in many senses is certainly powerful, it has unfortunately affected my ability to interact, comprehend, and appreciate other people. For some time now, especially around 2022, I made the effort to try and be social, to talk to people, first in messaging apps, then to physical conversation, and until today, I'm able to hold a genuine dialogue with other individuals, both men and women. Not only that, but it has also evolved into me, finally taking action and eventually, making this channel where I share myself to the world as I truly am, as an artist. At first, I tried to be some kind of intellectual YouTuber who reads from his own journal and thought deep thoughts, but I soon learned that it wasn't working. And then I decided that, I'm not getting any younger, and I really want to tell my story to the world, even if it's just floating in the void of the internet. I wanted the story of my art journey to at least exist in this universe as a tangible thing, as words or video, floating around the web. And so, I began making genuine heartfelt videos about my art journey, like stories of how I painted the same tree for 5 years, how I got into making comics, and mental struggles I self-reflected on in reference to my art. All I asked in return was just one other person, just one from somewhere in the world, to hear my words, see my video, or experience my works, my comics or illustrations, and then reciprocate feedback, be it positive words or constructive criticism that will help me to be better. Or more honestly, just another person who can relate to my experience. And soon enough, there were more than just one who related to my journey. As I've come to realize, I'm not perfect, meaning the experiences I put out through this channel, through my videos, voice, and writing, someone else out there is experiencing the same thing. Or at least somewhat the same thing, like fragments of similar experiences to mine. And it's that connection, that relatability, that by virtue of not being special, I am able to communicate to others with genuine intent. I'm writing this down because what to many and perhaps objectively speaking, the channel isn't really aiming to be the next big art channel. In the end though, seeing at least 300 people subscribe, taking their time to acknowledge me, trust in me, and relate to me is baffling. As someone who is just sharing their stories and documenting their journey, I am grateful towards the people who have offered their time to hear my plea and dance with me. And yes, I'm kind of aware that 300 subscribers don't really mean that exactly that amount of people are super invested in me. Nor should anyone be super invested in me anyways, I'm just a guy doing his own thing. And yet, I'm grateful for this little thing. That is somewhat a miracle that it even grew this far. Grateful that I was able to experience, being a YouTuber, which was a childhood desire, I guess. But, as I grew old, and like many, it's not really an endeavor to go all in the first time. What usually happens, and what's best to happen, is that slow, gradual evolution from testing the waters to it becoming a hobby, then so on and so forth until you get consistent and make something out of YouTube. And to be honest, I'm still in that hobby phase of doing YouTube. Hence, I've come to accept that, yeah, this is going to take more time than I thought, which is perfectly fine now that I've come to, realize and accept that. But back to the topic of being grateful. Gratitudes. This experience of doing something I never thought of doing before, realizing the reality of making YouTube videos, the effort one needs to have in order to get even just an inkling of attention, is far beyond normal human expectations, especially when it's on the side or just a hobby, unless you get lucky. Nonetheless, experience is experience, whether there are results or not. But in my case, there were results, a little, in the context of the wider world, but to me, it's quite sizable. Beyond the superficial goals of subscriber count or general attention, what I found truly grateful about this experience are the things that people don't usually glamorize about. People boast view counts, likes, subscribers, and more. But from doing this, I learned how to write better, how to talk and read better, to better articulate my points and lessons, being able to self-reflect and understand my past self. And amazingly, how other people connect to what I've been through or just taking a little note here and there from the experiences I talked about. Not to mention, meeting and talking to people on the other side and relating to them or just having some kind of good gesture. These little things, but as I've come to know, important things, foster a true sense of communication, which I'm grateful for in this YouTube space. Though right now, the future looks a little bleak with all the AI-generated bloat and sludge content out there, flooding everywhere, not just YouTube, not just videos, but all forms of media on the internet. Which has me thinking that perhaps doing something like this, just writing down my thoughts, my raw experience, and narrating them or talking about them, might be something that could bring some hope, some little light in the near future. But that's kind of it at the moment. I'm just grateful I got to experience this, even if this isn't going to last long or forever. So thank you to anyone listening, or even if no one gets to this point, even a few seconds of your time means a lot. Until then, see you.